Imagine a future where you're living a life filled with purpose, joy, and abundance. You wake up each day feeling energized and motivated to tackle whatever comes your way. Now, bring that vision to the present moment. As you watch this video, I want you to visualize yourself letting go of those self-destructive habits and replacing them with ones that will propel you towards success. In Stoic philosophy, it is believed that individuals have the power to shape their own destiny through their thoughts, actions, and choices. By developing good habits and eliminating bad ones, one can cultivate a life of wisdom, tranquility, and virtue. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, start changing now by removing bad habits. And remember, small beginnings lead to great endings. Let's do it. I want to start by saying that this message is just for you. I know that there are millions of videos out there, and you could easily choose to watch something else. But you didn't. You're here now, and I appreciate that. So let me say thank you for giving me your valuable time. Now, I want to ask you a favor. I'm asking you to make a commitment to yourself right now. And that commitment is simple. Do not skip this video under any circumstances. Not now, not later, because you're different from the rest. You're an exception, and as an exception, you need to act like one. You need to treat yourself differently and invest your time and attention in things that matter. So, stay focused. Number 1. Excessive materialism. This is a prevalent issue in modern society, where individuals often equate wealth and material possessions with happiness and success. However, as Stoics believe, such pursuits can lead to dissatisfaction and detract from meaningful experiences. To overcome excessive materialism, one must adopt a more minimalist approach, focusing instead on experiences, relationships, and personal growth. One effective strategy for reducing materialistic tendencies involves reframing one's perspective on what truly matters. Instead of placing value on external markers of success like possessions, status, or appearances, individuals should focus on cultivating inner qualities such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. By prioritizing virtues, you can develop a deeper sense of fulfillment that cannot be attained through material goods alone. Another method for overcoming excessive materialism involves simplifying one's lifestyle. This might involve downsizing, decluttering, and minimizing expenses by living frugally. By limiting consumption, individuals can reduce the emphasis on material possessions and refocus their energy on experiences and relationships that bring genuine satisfaction. Additionally, practicing gratitude for what already exists can foster contentment and diminish the desire for additional acquisitions. It's important to recognize that material possessions themselves are not inherently problematic. It's the attachment and obsession with them that can lead to dissatisfaction. To address this issue, individuals can practice non-attachment by acknowledging that material possessions are transient and impermanent. By embracing impermanence, you can let go of attachment to items and view them merely as tools or resources to be used rather than sources of identity or self-worth. Number 2. Seeking external validation. This is a common habit that many people struggle with. It can be tempting to constantly seek the approval and validation of others in order to feel good about ourselves. However, this habit can have negative consequences on our mental health and well-being. When we rely too heavily on external validation, we can easily become dependent on the opinions and approval of others. This means that our happiness becomes tied to things outside of ourselves, which can lead to feelings of insecurity and unhappiness when those external factors are not present or are taken away. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of self-approval and inner contentment. Instead of seeking external validation, Stoics encourage us to focus on developing our own inner strength and character. By cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, and justice, we can find a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction within ourselves. This type of self-reliance allows us to maintain our sense of happiness even in the face of adversity or criticism from others. In addition to improving our mental health, seeking external validation can also have negative effects on our relationships. When we constantly seek validation from others, we may come across as needy or insecure. This can damage our relationships and cause others to view us in a negative light. By focusing on our own inner growth and development, we can build stronger and more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Overall, seeking external validation can have serious negative consequences on our mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. By adopting the Stoic philosophy of self-reliance and inner strength, we can break free from this harmful habit and find true happiness and fulfillment within ourselves. Number 3. Rumination. Here's a common habit that can lead to significant emotional distress. Constantly dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about the future can take a toll on our mental health and well-being. When we ruminate, we tend to get stuck in negative thoughts, which can create feelings of guilt, shame, and anxiety. These negative emotions can prevent us from moving forward and enjoying life in the present moment. One effective way to overcome rumination is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is a core concept in Stoicism, which encourages individuals to live in the present moment and focus on their immediate experiences. By being mindful, we learn to let go of the past and stop worrying about the future. Instead, we concentrate on what is happening right now and how we can navigate through it with calmness and clarity. Practicing mindfulness involves paying attention to our senses, thoughts, and emotions without judgment. We observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them or reacting impulsively. By doing so, we gain insight into our thought patterns and develop a greater awareness of our mental and emotional states. This increased self-awareness helps us to manage our thoughts and emotions more effectively, reducing the frequency and intensity of negative rumination. Another technique to eliminate rumination is to focus on what we can control in any given situation. Stoicism reminds us that we cannot change the past or predict the future, but we can control our reactions to events. By focusing on our actions and decisions, instead of dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about the future, we can alleviate stress and anxiety. Number 4. Don't fear change. Embracing change can be difficult, especially if you're used to sticking with familiar routines and habits. But sometimes, change is necessary for personal growth and improvement. In fact, many successful people credit their achievements to taking risks and embracing change. So, how do you overcome your fear of change? Firstly, it's important to understand that change is not something to be feared. Instead, it should be seen as an opportunity for growth and learning. By opening yourself up to new experiences, you can broaden your horizons and discover new aspects of yourself. Additionally, stepping out of your comfort zone can help you build resilience and confidence. One practical strategy for overcoming the fear of change is to start small. Rather than jumping headfirst into a major life change, try making small changes in your daily routine or habits. For example, try a new workout routine or eat a new type of food. As you see these small changes working positively in your life, you will begin to trust yourself more and feel more comfortable with bigger changes down the road. Another useful approach is to focus on the potential benefits of change. What possibilities might open up for you if you embrace change? How might it improve your life or career? Visualizing these positive outcomes can help you stay motivated and inspired during the transition period. Finally, remember that change is a process, not a destination. It takes time to adjust and adapt, but with patience and persistence, you can overcome your fear of change and thrive in new situations. Be kind to yourself throughout the process, and don't be afraid to ask for support from friends, family, or professionals. Number 5. Stop worrying about the trivial. One of the most damaging habits that people often struggle with is excessive worrying about trivial matters. This constant state of agitation can stem from a variety of sources such as social media, news, gossip, or even personal insecurities. However, it's crucial to recognize that much of this information is irrelevant and does not contribute to one's happiness or fulfillment. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our time and energy on things that matter rather than getting bogged down by unnecessary worries. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can train ourselves to focus on what's essential and filter out the noise. This doesn't mean that we need to completely isolate ourselves from society, but rather learn to selectively engage with the world while maintaining our inner peace. To eliminate this habit, we can start by identifying the areas in our lives where we waste the most energy on inconsequential matters. This could include constantly checking our phone messages, feeling anxious about future events, or fretting over past mistakes. Once we identify these patterns, we can challenge them using Stoic reasoning. Ask ourselves whether these worries will make a difference in the long run and whether they align with our values and goals. Another technique that can help is setting boundaries around our time and attention. We can limit our exposure to sources of anxiety, such as avoiding certain social media platforms or avoiding excessive TV watching. By creating space for reflection and mindfulness, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace that will help us better handle unexpected challenges. Ultimately, the key to overcoming the habit of worrying about trivial matters lies in developing a deeper understanding of what truly matters in life. By adopting a Stoic perspective, we can learn to focus our energy on things that promote growth, joy, and connection with others. With consistent effort and practice, we can transform our minds and hearts to live more authentically and with greater purpose. Number 6. Never seek revenge. Seeking revenge may provide temporary satisfaction, but it ultimately leads to negative consequences for both parties involved. According to Stoic philosophy, focusing on the well-being of others and finding inner peace are far more valuable pursuits than seeking revenge. Revenge can be harmful because it creates a cycle of negativity and hurt. It can also lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and regret. Moreover, it consumes a lot of mental and emotional energy that could otherwise be directed toward positive goals. The Stoics believe that individuals should aim to be indifferent to insults and wrongdoings, as they are beyond their control. Instead, we should focus on improving ourselves and the world around us. They believe that true power comes from within, and that we should strive to be virtuous and moral in all our actions. Forgiving those who have wronged us can be incredibly difficult, but it is a powerful tool for achieving inner peace and moving forward. When we forgive, we release ourselves from the burden of holding a grudge and allow ourselves to heal. Forgiveness also promotes compassion, empathy, and understanding, which are essential qualities for building healthy relationships. In addition, seeking revenge can damage our relationships and reputation, whereas forgiveness can strengthen our connections with others. When we forgive, we show others that we trust them and value our relationship, which can foster deeper bonds and mutual respect. Eliminating the desire for revenge requires self-reflection and introspection. We must examine our own beliefs and motivations to determine why we seek revenge and whether it serves any purpose. Practicing mindfulness and meditation can also help us develop a more detached perspective and reduce our emotional reactivity. By embracing the Stoic perspective on forgiveness, we can break the cycle of revenge and create a more positive, fulfilling life, focusing on our own growth and development. And extending compassion to others can lead to greater well-being and happiness. Ultimately, seeking revenge may bring temporary relief, but it fails to address the underlying issues and only perpetuates negativity. Number 7. Stop wasting your time. Time is finite, and therefore, it is essential to make every moment count. The Stoics believed that time was a gift, and that it was up to each individual to use it wisely. Unfortunately, many of us waste time on activities that do not contribute to our overall well-being or personal growth. Here are some ways to eliminate this habit and make the most of your time. Firstly, identify your priorities and focus on them. The Stoics believed that one should focus on what they can control, and similarly, we should focus on what is important to us. Determine what truly matters to you and allocate your time accordingly. Eliminate any activities that do not align with your values or goals. Secondly, adopt a proactive approach to problem solving. Rather than waiting for things to happen, take action towards your goals. The Stoics believed that virtue was its own reward, and that by taking action towards our goals, we can find contentment and satisfaction. Lastly, practice gratitude. Gratitude allows us to appreciate the good things in life and cultivate a sense of contentment. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we can live a more fulfilling life. Remember, time is a precious resource, and we only get so much of it. By applying Stoic principles, we can make the most of every moment and live a more fulfilling life. So, start today by identifying your priorities, taking a proactive approach to problem solving, and practicing gratitude. Number 8. Stop looking for problems. It's easy to fall into the trap of constantly searching for problems, but as Stoics teach us, it's far more productive to instead focus on what we can control and work towards solving those issues. When we adopt a problem-solving mindset, we move from a place of reactivity to a place of proactivity. One way to achieve this is by reframing the way we think about problems. Instead of seeing them as negative experiences, we can view them as challenges to be overcome. With this new perspective, we can approach problems with confidence and determination, knowing that overcoming them will lead to personal growth and development. Another strategy is to focus on the things we can control and let go of the rest. Oftentimes, we expend unnecessary energy worrying about things outside of our control. By letting go of these concerns, we free ourselves up to focus on the things that matter most. Additionally, we must remember that obstacles are opportunities in disguise. The Stoics believed that difficulties were sent to test our resolve and strengthen our character. So when faced with a challenge, embrace it and see it as an opportunity to grow and improve. Finally, we should always strive to maintain a positive attitude. Negativity breeds negativity, and it can be difficult to find solutions when we're feeling down or defeated. Keeping a positive outlook helps us approach problems with a clear head and open heart, increasing our chances of finding effective solutions. By shifting our perspective and adopting a problem-solving mindset, we can begin to live a life that aligns with Stoic values. Let's stop looking for problems and start finding solutions. Number 9. Impulsivity. Impulsivity is a common habit that often leads to poor decisions and regret. It involves acting on sudden desires or whims without careful consideration or reflection. However, the Stoics encourage their followers to resist this temptation and instead practice a more deliberate and considered approach to decision-making. To overcome impulsivity, it's necessary to slow down and reflect on the potential consequences of our actions before taking them. This means asking ourselves if our desired course of action aligns with our values and long-term goals. It also means considering the potential risks and benefits and weighing them against each other. The Stoics believe that emotions could cloud judgment, leading to irrational decisions. Therefore, they emphasize the importance of detaching oneself from one's emotions and approaching situations objectively. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions altogether, but rather learning to recognize and acknowledge them without allowing them to dictate our actions. Another key aspect of overcoming impulsivity is developing self-discipline. This means having the ability to postpone immediate gratification in favor of longer-term benefits. For example, someone who wants to save money should resist the urge to spend it impulsively and instead put it aside for future use. In addition to these practical strategies, it's important to cultivate a sense of inner peace and tranquility. This comes from accepting the things we cannot change and focusing on the things we can. By living in accordance with nature and embracing the present moment, we can develop a sense of calm and clarity that enables us to make better decisions. Overall, eliminating impulsivity requires a commitment to deliberate, thoughtful decision-making, and a willingness to exercise self-discipline. By following the wisdom of the Stoics, we can learn to resist the allure of instant gratification and instead choose a path that leads to greater fulfillment and success. Number 10. Stop complaining. This is a habit that many people struggle with. We may complain about the weather, our jobs, our relationships, or any number of things that we feel are not going the way we want them to. However, complaining rarely leads to meaningful solutions and can even create more stress and negativity in our lives. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to accept what we cannot. Complaining is often a manifestation of frustration and anger at things that are beyond our control. By accepting that some things are simply out of our hands, we can avoid getting bogged down in negative emotions and instead channel our energy into areas where we can make a difference. Instead of complaining, we can focus on taking action. If there is something we are unhappy with, we can work to change it. This might involve seeking out new opportunities, communicating with others, or taking steps to improve our own circumstances. By taking action, we can turn our situation around and create positive changes in our lives. It is also important to recognize that sometimes bad things happen to us, and complaining won't change that. In these cases, it can be helpful to practice gratitude for what we do have and look for the lessons or opportunities that can come from difficult situations. Ultimately, eliminating complaining requires a shift in mindset from one of negativity to one of positivity and action. By focusing on what we can control and taking action where we can transform our lives and become a happier, more fulfilled person. Not reacting is choosing calm amidst chaos. It's an exercise of strength, not resignation. Today, we will address an important yet challenging topic: how to effectively resolve problematic and harmful relationships. At some point, many of us have felt exploited in a relationship, whether romantic, friendly, or familial. Occasionally, these interactions, which should be mutually beneficial, end up being one-sided, benefiting only one party. Even when we realize this, it can be very challenging to take a stand or step away to resolve this emotional issue. However, as Stoic principles teach us, we should focus on preserving our energy for actions and interactions that truly propel us toward our goals and aspirations. Therefore, it's crucial to recognize when certain relationships do more harm than good. Instead of dissipating energy in confrontations or emotional reactions, true wisdom lies in quietly withdrawing. Avoiding conflicts and quietly cutting ties is not only a prudent action, but also a respect for our own inner peace. Opting for a discreet withdrawal minimizes the negative emotional impact and keeps our focus and energy directed toward what truly matters. This non-confrontational method does not imply passivity, but rather a deliberate decision to not let external negativities disturb our emotional balance. Quietly distancing oneself is, therefore, a powerful strategy to maintain serenity and mental health, ensuring that our personal environment remains a sanctuary against toxic influences. Thus, we will discuss 7 tactics to identify these problematic relationships and how to end them in the best possible way, quietly and without direct reactions. Each of these strategies offers a way to distance oneself in a respectful and non-confrontational manner, helping to preserve our inner peace while moving away from negative interactions. Stay attentive, as every topic discussed here is crucial. Stay with us until the end, and if possible, leave your like and subscribe to the channel, which is very helpful and costs nothing to you. Let's begin. Number 1. Progressive disengagement. This is a subtle and effective technique for distancing oneself from people who bring negativity into your life without causing unnecessary confrontations. This method involves a gradual decrease in the frequency and intensity of interactions, which can be less painful and more controlled than an abrupt cut. Start by limiting communication. This might mean responding to messages at longer intervals and with shorter, less personal replies. In social interactions, you can choose to physically position yourself further away or engage less in conversations. The goal here is not to be rude, but to protect your emotional energy. Moreover, prioritize other relationships that positively contribute to your life. By doing so, your time and energy will naturally be redirected to healthier and more enriching interactions. This not only strengthens valuable bonds, but also creates a natural barrier against the negative influences of the relationships you wish to avoid. This process of disengagement also allows you to maintain composure and dignity, as it avoids the drama that often accompanies direct confrontations. By progressively reducing closeness, you give both yourself and the other person space to adjust to the new dynamics without intense emotional shocks. Adopting progressive disengagement is a way to affirm your own respect and value without engaging in conflicts, ensuring that your path to emotional and mental well-being is preserved. Number 2. Changing common habits. Altering your habits and routines is a practical strategy to minimize unwanted contact with people who cause you emotional discomfort. When we share common spaces or routines with someone who harms us, inevitable encounters can become sources of stress and anxiety. Adapting your itinerary or seeking new environments to frequent can be an effective way to silently remove these negative influences from your daily life. This concept resonates with Stoicism, which teaches the importance of controlling one's own life and minimizing external disturbances. Stoics advocate that we should focus on what is within our power, and modifying our own habits to avoid toxic interactions is an excellent example of this philosophy. By consciously choosing when and where we are, we can create an environment that favors our tranquility. For example, if you usually encounter someone who harms you at a certain cafe every morning, changing your coffee spot to another that offers a more positive environment can be a simple yet effective way to maintain your serenity. This change not only decreases the likelihood of encounters that can negatively impact your day, but also reinforces your autonomy and control over your own life, concepts highly valued by Stoicism. This adjustment in habits, inspired by self-management, allows you to preserve yourself from external influences that disturb your inner peace. Instead of directly confronting the source of discontent, you circumvent it, aligning your actions with your needs and well-being, a direct reflection of the Stoic thought that we should focus our energies only on the areas of our life over which we have control. Number 3. Avoid unnecessary confrontations. Keeping interactions neutral and brief is an effective tactic for quietly distancing yourself from people who cause emotional discomfort without creating unnecessary waves or drama. Engaging in long or emotionally charged conversations can inadvertently strengthen the bonds you are trying to cut, fostering unwanted connections. By limiting communication to superficial and necessary exchanges, you protect your emotional energy and maintain focus on healthy disassociation. This approach not only helps prevent the escalation of tensions, but also facilitates a transition to a less painful and more discreet separation. When interactions are intentionally kept at a superficial level, the parties involved gradually lose interest in deepening the relationship, which can facilitate a natural and conflict-free distancing. Moreover, by choosing not to respond emotionally and maintaining composure, you practice a form of self-control that is central to many philosophies focused on inner peace, like Stoicism. This philosophy teaches that we should avoid allowing our passions to control us, and instead seek a life marked by rationality and emotional detachment. Therefore, by opting for brief and neutral interactions, you not only facilitate the process of cutting ties smoothly, but also exercise greater control over your emotional responses, aligning your actions with a path of greater peace and less disturbance in your life. Number 4. Recognition of toxicity signs. Correctly identifying the signs of a toxic relationship is the first step before considering silently cutting ties. This step is crucial as it allows you to objectively assess whether your interactions are harming your mental or emotional health. Behaviors such as constant manipulation, excessive criticism, and disrespect for your personal boundaries are clear indicators of toxicity. Furthermore, a toxic relationship can be characterized by a lack of support, unfair competition, and an imbalance in emotional exchanges, where one party always feels drained or undervalued. These signs, once identified, should serve as red flags, encouraging you to reconsider the value of these interactions for your well-being. By learning to recognize these signs, you empower yourself to make more informed and conscious decisions about which relationships to cultivate and which to avoid. This not only protects your mental health, but also optimizes your energy to invest in relationships that are genuinely enriching and positive. The ability to identify toxic relationships and act accordingly is not only a protective measure, but also a step towards greater control over your social life. Silently cutting ties with these toxic connections allows you to step back without creating unnecessary conflicts, thus preserving your peace of mind and respecting your emotional boundaries. Number 5. Assessment of emotional impact. An essential part of the process of silently distancing yourself from harmful people is to thoroughly assess the emotional and mental impact of these interactions. This introspective examination allows you to deeply understand how certain relationships affect your mood and overall well-being. When you notice that certain people consistently drain your energy, provoke anxiety, or exacerbate feelings of inadequacy, it becomes clear that these relationships may be detrimental to your emotional health. Reflecting on these dynamics is important because toxic relationships often have a cumulative effect, where the negative impact intensifies over time. Conducting this honest assessment of the emotional impact not only helps you recognize the need for distance, but also strengthens your resolve to do so discreetly and non-confrontationally. This involves understanding that, in many cases, directly confronting the individual or making dramatic statements about ending a relationship can actually lead to more stress and confrontation. Therefore, by choosing to distance yourself, you are prioritizing your inner peace and mental health, ensuring that your energy is reserved for relationships that are truly enriching and reciprocal. This choice, although it may be difficult, is a powerful affirmation of your right to seek and maintain a healthy emotional environment. Number 6. Focus on new friendships and relationships. When you decide to silently cut off people who bring negativity into your life, it is important to redirect your attention and energy towards cultivating new friendships and strengthening existing relationships that are healthy and positive. This redirection serves as a proactive step, not only to rebuild your social circle, but also to reinforce your emotional support during a potentially difficult period. By investing in relationships that promote mutual respect, support, and personal growth, you create an environment that is fundamental for your recovery and development. These healthy relationships are vital because they provide a positive counterpoint to the negative experiences you may have had, helping to restore your confidence in social interactions and reaffirming the value of genuine and reciprocal connections. Furthermore, by forming new friendships and strengthening bonds, you naturally begin to fill the emotional and social space left by the distancing from toxic people. This helps to prevent feelings of emptiness or loneliness that might arise after such cuts. Filling that space with positive interactions is essential for maintaining a healthy perspective and for the continuation of your emotional and social growth. Focusing on new friendships and strengthening healthy relationships is, therefore, a vital strategy that not only helps you disentangle from negative influences, but also builds a solid foundation for a happier and more balanced future. Number 7. Discreet use of social media. In an increasingly connected world, social media can be both a battlefield and a tool of liberation, especially when it comes to managing toxic relationships. To cut ties silently without causing conflicts, it is prudent to use social media cautiously and discreetly. Adjusting your privacy settings to control who can see your posts and interactions can be an essential step to avoid unwanted confrontations or invasive observations. Additionally, you might consider limiting or selecting what you share online. By reducing the visibility of your daily activities, you decrease the opportunities for negative comments or interactions from those you are distancing yourself from. This not only protects your privacy, but also helps preserve your emotional well-being by minimizing the chances of unpleasant interactions. It can also be useful to review and possibly restrict your lists of friends or followers, removing or muting those who contribute to negativity in your digital life. Many social media platforms offer options to mute or hide someone without necessarily blocking them, which can be an effective solution to avoid drama while protecting yourself from potentially disturbing content. Using social media with discretion does not mean isolating yourself, but rather choosing to engage in ways that preserve your peace of mind and promote positive interactions. This approach allows you to maintain an active and healthy online presence while discreetly distancing yourself from toxic influences, ensuring that your digital life is an extension of your personal growth and well-being. Thus, completing the process of silently distancing yourself from people who cause harm in your life is an act of emotional and mental self-defense. By choosing not to react directly and instead to distance yourself in a calculated and discreet manner, you protect your well-being and conserve your energy for healthier and more productive relationships. This method not only avoids unnecessary trauma, but also strengthens your ability to control your surrounding environment, allowing you to maintain focus on the areas of your life that truly matter. Implementing these strategies, discussed in the video, demonstrates a mature and thoughtful approach to dealing with toxic interactions. It reflects a commitment to yourself to live a less stressful and more rewarding life. Ultimately, silently cutting off harmful people is not about escaping problems, but about choosing to face them in a way that preserves your dignity and mental health. It is a recognition that you have the right and the responsibility to build a personal environment where mutual respect and support are the norm, not the exception. By adopting these practices, you not only improve your own quality of life, but also set a standard for the kind of relationships you wish to cultivate in the future. Controlling situations and influencing people. This theme resonates with a sense of mystery and power that has fascinated humanity for centuries. Often associated with manipulation or selfishness, this concept can evoke a certain caution. However, when we study these psychological tricks, we find subtle strategies rooted in the everyday lives of just about anyone. It is important to say that all knowledge is neutral, as it depends on the user to give it a function. Therefore, remember that these techniques we will talk about here can be used for good or for evil, and it depends only on you. I would like to emphasize that the purpose of this video is primarily educational, so that you understand how these behaviors work, so that you can use them constructively, and also to have tools to notice when someone is using these techniques on you. It is worth noting that some techniques, far from being harmful, are tools that, used wisely and ethically, direct situations towards mutually beneficial results, transforming everyday interactions in ways that benefit everyone involved. After all, mastering how we communicate and perceive the world can have significant impacts, guiding situations towards the desired path without harming anyone. And to persuade you to watch the video until the end, I will already use some triggers in the following sentence. Remember that I am being honest, and this is already part of the idea of this content. See if you can already perceive these triggers. Let's begin. The only thing I ask of you is not to skip this video in any way. If you're here, consider yourself different from the majority. Consider yourself an exception. Now act like one and don't skip any part of the content. Number 1. Play dumb. This is a subtle psychological technique that can be extremely useful in situations where you want to get more information without revealing your true level of knowledge or interest. By adopting a stance of innocence or ignorance, you can encourage others to share more than they normally would, as people tend to expand their explanations when they believe they are dealing with someone who doesn't fully understand the subject. This approach can be particularly valuable in negotiations or when trying to discover the true intentions of another person. For example, by pretending that you do not fully understand a proposal, you can lead the other party to disclose more details about their motivations or the advantages they may be trying to hide, without them realizing that you are actually collecting critical information for your decision-making. Moreover, using this technique can help create a less confrontational environment. When others perceive that you are just trying to understand better rather than challenging them directly, they may feel more comfortable opening up. This can be especially useful in delicate situations where direct confrontation could lead to defenses and less frank sharing. However, it is crucial to use this tactic ethically and considerately, as manipulating others under the guise of ignorance can damage trust and credibility once the true nature of your intentions is discovered. Therefore, while it is a powerful tool, it should be employed with discernment and responsibility. Number 2. Wordplay. By carefully choosing your words, you can influence how a message is received and how the other person feels in response. This technique is based on the principle that words not only convey information, but also carry emotional weight and can trigger specific behavioral responses. For example, by saying thank you for being patient instead of sorry for keeping you waiting, you shift the focus from your own failure to the merit of the other person. This approach not only elevates the emotional state of the receiver, making them feel valued and respected, but also encourages them to continue acting in a positive manner. By acknowledging the other person's patience, you reinforce that behavior and increase the likelihood that they will maintain the same cooperative and understanding attitude in the future. Additionally, the strategic use of positive words and affirmations can create a more pleasant and conducive environment for negotiations or difficult interactions. For example, instead of confronting someone with "you are wrong," opting for "I see your point, but let's consider this other perspective as well," can keep the discussion open and less defensive. Wordplay is also crucial in conflict resolution, where the choice of words can either calm a tense situation or further inflame emotions. Carefully chosen words can help de-escalate a conflict, promoting understanding and mutual respect, instead of resistance and antagonism. Therefore, understanding and practicing the art of choosing the right words is not just a valuable communication skill, but also a powerful psychological tool to positively influence the outcomes of social and professional interprofessional interactions. Number 3. Praise questions. Doing this during conversations or discussions is a subtle but powerful psychological trick that can help control the course of an interaction. When faced with a challenging question, acknowledging the quality of the question before responding not only buys time to formulate an appropriate answer, but also positively affects the emotional state and perception of the interlocutor. By praising the question, such as saying "that's a great question," or "I'm glad you brought that up," you validate the other person's intellectual effort. This recognition makes the interlocutor feel appreciated and intelligent, which in turn can reduce their tendency to be overly critical or hostile towards your response. This technique is particularly useful in tense situations, such as work meetings, presentations, or debates, where questions can be particularly sharp or challenging. Furthermore, by praising a question, you establish an atmosphere of mutual respect. This can encourage a more open and collaborative exchange of ideas, rather than an adversarial confrontation. When people feel valued, they are more likely to listen actively and consider your perspective, even if the answer is not exactly what they expected or wanted to hear. It is also important to note that praising questions can help strengthen your own standing as an effective communicator and a thoughtful leader. Demonstrating that you value others' contributions and are open to dialogue and questioning not only improves group dynamics, but also elevates your personal image. Number 4. Don't own the idea. Making people believe that an idea originated from them is a cunning psychological trick that can be extremely effective in garnering support and engagement in both corporate and personal environments. This method capitalizes on the natural tendency of people to be more favorable and committed to concepts or plans that they feel they have originated or significantly contributed to. By not presenting yourself as the owner of an idea, but allowing others to adopt it as their own, you create a scenario where commitment and motivation to see the idea through are substantially increased. This is because when people feel that an idea is theirs, they are more likely to work harder to implement it, defend it against criticism, and seek solutions for any challenges that may arise. To successfully apply this trick, it is crucial to master the art of subtly planting ideas. This can be done through open-ended questions that lead others to think in a specific direction, suggesting scenarios or possibilities that guide people to the conclusions you desire. For example, instead of directly suggesting a new marketing strategy, you might ask, "How do you think we could improve our impact on the market?" This encourages the other person to think and potentially arrive at the strategy you already had in mind, but as if it were their own discovery. This trick also helps create a more collaborative and less competitive work environment, as when people feel co-authors of an idea, there is less resistance and more cooperation. Additionally, by minimizing authorship and emphasizing collaboration, you can position yourself as an inclusive and democratic leader, which can strengthen the respect and loyalty of your peers or team. Number 5. Aim for the sun and hit the moon. This is a persuasion strategy involving the exaggerated request technique followed by a more reasonable request. This method is based on the principle of contrast, where making an initial large and likely unattainable request makes the second request, which is the actual goal, seem much more acceptable in comparison. When employing this trick, you start with a request that is intentionally ambitious or difficult to fulfill, expecting a rejection. The idea behind this is to prepare the ground for the real request, which is significantly more moderate. When the second request is made, it is perceived as more reasonable or easier to grant, increasing the likelihood of acceptance. This technique is effective because it exploits the human tendency to make relative comparisons. After confronting the idea of a major sacrifice, the person tends to feel relief and more willing to accept a smaller commitment, which now seems more attractive and reasonable. Additionally, this strategy can also induce a sense of reciprocity. The person who rejects the initial request may feel a psychological need to compensate by accepting the second request. However, it is important to use this technique cautiously and responsibly, as if used excessively or perceived as manipulative. It could ultimately erode trust and respect in interpersonal relationships. The success of this method depends greatly on the context and the relationship between the parties involved, as well as on presenting the requests ethically and thoughtfully. Number 6. The favor technique. By requesting a favor that does not require much effort, you create an opportunity for the person to feel helpful without feeling overwhelmed. This initial request, when small and reasonable, is generally met because the person does not see significant obstacles to assisting. For example, you could ask a colleague to review a brief document or ask for an opinion on an idea you had. These are small favors that most people can perform without a large investment of time or energy. When someone performs a favor, even a small one, this act can trigger a feeling of personal investment in your success or well-being. This phenomenon suggests that we are more likely to like and help someone for whom we have already done a favor because we like to think of ourselves as helpful or generous individuals. Furthermore, performing favors can boost the self-esteem of the person helping, reinforcing their self-perception as someone useful and valued. This, in turn, can promote the creation of a stronger and more lasting cooperative dynamic, as the person feels more connected and committed to mutual well-being. Number 7. The law of contrast. The law of contrast is a psychological trick that relies on people's relative perception to influence their evaluation of certain options or situations. This principle suggests that when presenting two options sequentially, the second option is judged more favorably if it contrasts with a less attractive first option. Using the law of contrast can be especially effective in negotiations, sales, or even in personal contexts where you want to highlight the benefits of a specific choice. For example, a salesperson might first show a more expensive product with fewer features, then present the product they really want to sell, which might be cheaper or have better features. The contrast between the two makes the second seem like a much more advantageous choice, increasing the likelihood of acceptance. In emotional terms, the law of contrast can be used to enhance the reception of a solution presented after describing a problem. By starting a discussion with the challenges or problems faced, and then introducing a realistic and beneficial solution, the solution is perceived much more positively. This occurs because the mind is already primed by the contrast of the initial problem, making the solution appear even more desirable and effective. This method is also useful in educational or coaching situations, where the contrast between before and after can be used to highlight the progress made or the benefits of adopting a new behavior or technique. By clearly demonstrating the difference that a change can make, people are more motivated to accept and integrate that change into their lives. Additionally, the law of contrast can be used to generate appreciation and gratitude. By contrasting current situations with less desirable past situations, people can feel a greater appreciation for the present. This can strengthen bonds in personal relationships, increase job satisfaction, and improve overall resilience. Number 8. Observe the group. The technique of observing the group is a useful tool for understanding the dynamics and interpersonal relationships within a specific group of people. By being attentive to their interactions and behaviors in a collective environment, you can gather valuable insights into who the informal leaders are, the affinities, conflicts, and even divisions within the group. This information is crucial for effectively navigating and influencing the group. For example, in a social or professional setting, by noticing how people react to humorous situations, you can identify whom they show more affection or discomfort. Commonly, during a funny moment, people instinctively look at those they feel more connected to or admire, using laughter as a shared bond. Similarly, avoiding eye contact with certain individuals during these times can indicate a lack of connection or even antipathy. This observation allows you to adjust your communication and interaction strategies. For example, if you are trying to influence a group decision or promote an idea, knowing who the influencers or potential allies within the group can be extremely useful. You can direct your interactions to gain the support of these key individuals, which, in turn, can facilitate acceptance by the group as a whole. In summary, the ability to observe and interpret group dynamics is a powerful tool for those seeking to exert influence or leadership. It not only improves your ability to communicate effectively, but also helps build stronger relationships and navigate the complexities of social interactions more successfully. Number 9. Stay quiet. The technique of staying quiet and attentive is an effective method for extracting more information from a conversation without needing to ask many direct questions. When you choose to remain silent and maintain interested eye contact, you create a space that often leads the other person to fill the void with more details or even unplanned revelations. This behavior of actively listening without interrupting conveys respect and genuine interest in what the other is saying, which can encourage the person to open up more. In many cases, when someone realizes they have your full attention, they feel valued and more willing to share. This type of environment can be particularly useful in negotiations or important discussions, where fully understanding the perspective and motivations of the other side is crucial. Moreover, this technique can be particularly effective when you suspect someone is trying to deceive you or justify something in an unsound manner. By staying quiet and maintaining eye contact, you shift the burden to the other person, increasing the pressure for them to keep talking. This can lead to inconsistencies in their speech or even an inadvertent confession, as the person may feel compelled to fill the silence with more explanations, which sometimes results in contradictions or details they did not intend to reveal. Silence can, therefore, be a powerful tool to encourage the other party to reveal more than they initially intended. It not only forces the person to speak more, but also helps you better analyze the responses, carefully observing facial expressions and body language, which can provide additional clues about the sincerity and emotion behind the words. Number 10. The power of touch. When used subtly and appropriately, touch can be a powerful psychological tool to enhance communication and strengthen connections. A light touch can act as an effective nonverbal signal that draws attention to you or a message you want to emphasize. However, it is crucial to use this technique discreetly and with cultural awareness. A simple touch on the shoulder, a firm handshake, or a light touch on the arm during a conversation can increase feelings of trust and empathy among people. Moreover, a touch can be particularly effective at critical moments in the conversation to emphasize a point or show support. However, it is crucial to use this gesture sparingly during an interaction to maintain its impact. Repeated use of touch can dilute its effectiveness and even be perceived as invasive or inappropriate, leading to an adverse reaction that can damage the relationship rather than strengthen it. The perception of each touch largely depends on cultural context, social norms, and personal preferences. So it is essential to be highly observant and sensitive to the other person's reactions. In multicultural contexts or situations where you are unsure about touch norms, it is advisable to err on the side of caution and limit the use of this technique until greater understanding and comfort are established. Always consider the receptivity and comfort of the other when deciding to employ touch as a method of communication. Number 11. Redirect attention. This method can be particularly effective in meetings, discussions, or any social setting where you prefer to maintain a more discreet profile or when the attention directed at you may be uncomfortable or detrimental. To effectively redirect attention, it is essential to be strategic about timing and method. For instance, if you feel pressured with difficult questions or criticisms during a meeting, one way to shift the focus is to engage another person in the conversation. This can be done by asking a direct question to a colleague related to the topic at hand, or by bringing up a contribution or idea that someone else previously mentioned. Another strategy is to use gestures or nonverbal cues that naturally guide attention towards another person or object. For example, if you notice that glances are converging on you uncomfortably, you can deliberately look at someone else, or point to a document, screen, or object that diverts the group's attention. Furthermore, making a suggestion that involves the participation of others can also be a subtle way to redistribute attention. For instance, you might suggest that someone with specific expertise in the room expand on a point you started, showing respect for the person's knowledge while simultaneously moving the focus away from yourself. These actions not only help to efficiently redirect attention, but also contribute to an atmosphere of collaboration and inclusion. By shifting the focus to others, you demonstrate leadership and the ability to facilitate dialogue, which can be positively perceived by others. Number 12. Show grounding. This method is based on the social influence principle known as partial validation. When people perceive that their opinions are partially validated, they tend to feel more understood and respected, reducing the likelihood of defensive reactions and increasing openness to dialogue. For example, if someone presents an opinion with which you largely disagree, you might begin your response by highlighting the point or aspect you agree with. "I understand and agree with your point about X. That makes a lot of sense. However, I have a different perspective on it that I would like to explore." After establishing this initial connection of agreement, it is more likely that the other person will be willing to listen to your divergent perspective with an open mind. This is the moment to present your argument clearly and well-founded, using evidence, examples, or logical reasoning to support your viewpoint. It is important to maintain a respectful and collaborative tone, focusing on building mutual understanding rather than trying to win the discussion. This approach can transform potential conflicts into opportunities for learning and developing deeper, respectful relationships. Number 13. The power of the name. Using a person's name in conversations is a simple yet extremely powerful psychological trick to subtly influence and control situations. This method is based on the premise that the sound of one's own name is one of the most pleasant and important words to any individual. By addressing someone by name, you not only capture their attention more effectively, but also create a sense of intimacy and importance, which are crucial for establishing a positive connection. Calling someone by name makes that person feel valued and considered. This is especially useful in situations where you want someone to be more collaborative or helpful. Recognition by name triggers an almost immediate positive response, because people tend to feel more engaged and important, which, in turn, motivates them not to disappoint the person who valued them in this way. Additionally, using someone's name in a dialogue can increase the likelihood of the person paying closer attention to what is being said and responding more favorably. Furthermore, using a name is a sign of respect and consideration, which are fundamental for building and maintaining lasting relationships, whether in a professional or personal environment. People who make a point of calling others by name are often perceived as more charismatic and attentive, qualities that naturally attract others and enhance the speaker's influence. Number 14. Curiosity. Provoking curiosity is an effective psychological technique that can be used to control situations and influence people by increasing their interest and attention towards you or what you are communicating. By creating a sense of mystery or leaving certain details undefined, you awaken people's natural curiosity, encouraging them to seek more information and stay engaged in the interaction. Curiosity is a powerful driver in human behavior. It is the emotion that leads us to explore, discover, and learn. When someone leaves something unfinished or mentions something intriguing without providing all the details, it automatically triggers the desire to fill the knowledge gap. This need to solve the mystery or find out more keeps people involved and attentive. Moreover, by keeping certain aspects of a conversation or information under a veil of secrecy, you can control the pace and direction of the interaction. This can be particularly useful in negotiations or critical discussions, where maintaining control of information can determine the outcome in your favor. Strategic use of curiosity can make the other party feel more invested in the process as they remain engaged to uncover what is subtly being hidden. Thus, cultivating curiosity by maintaining a level of mystery can be an effective way to attract and hold people's attention, enhancing your influence in any situation. Number 15. The power of the smile. When you smile at the right moment, it conveys a sense of openness, kindness, and positivity. This facial expression not only improves your own mood, but also has a contagious impact on others. A genuine smile can make those around you feel more at ease, safer, and more open to sharing and collaborating. This ability to influence the environment makes smiling a powerful tool in negotiations, presentations, leadership, and even casual situations. Making others smile can amplify the effects of this approach. When people smile, they release neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which are associated with well-being and happiness. This positive emotional state reduces psychological barriers, facilitates communication, and increases the likelihood of people speaking truthfully and being collaborative. A smile can also be an effective strategy for dealing with confrontational situations or tense negotiations. It can soften resistance, indicating that you are approaching the situation with a non-confrontational mindset and open to dialogue. This can make the other party lower their guard and be more receptive to your ideas or proposals. Making others smile is equally powerful. By telling a light joke, sharing a positive story, or simply showing genuine enthusiasm, you can induce smiles that, in turn, facilitate a deeper connection. People tend to feel more connected to those who make them smile, which can be advantageous in establishing long-lasting and trustworthy relationships. Number 16. Mirroring. This approach involves subtly replicating some behaviors of other people. When you mirror someone subtly, you are sending a subconscious signal that you two are similar. This can make the other person feel more understood and accepted, reducing the social and emotional barriers that might inhibit interaction. Mirroring can be particularly useful in negotiation situations, conflict mediation, or any social context. When adopting this technique, it is important that mirroring be done naturally and not excessively, to avoid seeming like an obvious or mocking imitation. For example, if the person you are speaking with uses many hand gestures while talking, you might incorporate similar gestures into your own communication, but in a more subdued manner. Similarly, adjusting the tone of your voice to more closely align with the other person's can significantly improve communication quality. Another application of mirroring is in body language. If the person is leaning forward, you might lean in as well, indicating interest and attentiveness. This increases the sense of engagement and connection. Similarly, reflecting someone's facial expression, whether a smile, an expression of concern, or curiosity, can strengthen empathy and emotional connection. Number 17. Be direct. When you make a request in a general manner to a group, it is common for the diffusion of responsibility phenomenon to occur, where each person assumes someone else will fulfill the request, often resulting in inaction. To avoid this scenario, when asking for something specific, it is important to direct your request specifically to the person from whom you want a response or action. This not only clarifies who is responsible for performing the task, but also increases the likelihood that the request will be fulfilled, as the individual feels directly engaged and accountable. For example, in a team meeting, instead of saying, "Can someone organize the documents for the next session?" you should select a team member and say, "John, could you organize the documents for the next session?" This eliminates any ambiguity about who is responsible for the task. This direct approach also contributes to more efficient communication, as it reduces the chances of misunderstandings and ensures that expectations are clearly understood. Additionally, by making a direct request, you convey confidence and leadership, showing that you are aware of the individual capabilities within the group and that you value each person's specific contribution. Beyond being an effective technique for delegating responsibilities, asking directly can also strengthen interpersonal relationships, as when people realize they are trusted to perform specific tasks, they tend to feel more valued and respected. In summary, being direct in your requests is a powerful means to enhance communication efficacy and individual accountability, while also reinforcing positive group dynamics and efficiency in accomplishing shared tasks and goals. Number 18. Encourage with gestures. Gestures such as nodding, smiling, or even using appropriate facial expressions can serve as nonverbal reinforcements that encourage or modulate someone's action in a conversation or situation. For example, nodding while someone is speaking is a universal sign that you are listening and understanding what is being said. This can be particularly encouraging for someone who may feel insecure or shy. This simple gesture communicates that you value their words and are interested in hearing more, which can help the person feel more confident and open to continue speaking. Similarly, a smile can be used to soften a critique or to reinforce positive behavior. A sincere smile during a conversation can make the interlocutor feel more at ease and accepted, which can lead to more open and less defensive communication. Another example of how gestures can be used to control situations includes using hand movements to regulate the flow of conversation. Raising a hand slightly can be a polite way to interrupt someone when necessary, or indicate that you would like to speak without being abrupt. Using gestures to encourage not only helps to create a more positive and collaborative environment, but also demonstrates leadership skills and empathy. These nonverbal cues help create a rhythm in communication that can make interactions more effective and rewarding. Number 19. First impression. This is a fundamental aspect that can set the tone for future interactions, whether in a personal meeting, a job interview, or a business meeting. Due to the speed with which people form initial judgments, it is essential to meticulously care for how you present yourself in first interactions. The strength of the first impression lies in the fact that once formed, it can be quite challenging to alter. People tend to look for confirmations of their first impressions in subsequent behaviors. This means that a positive initial impression can lead to a more favorable perception of later actions and attributes, while a poor first impression can predispose someone to perceive future interactions negatively. Investing in caring for your first impression is not just about manipulating how others see you, but about respecting yourself and establishing a solid foundation for future interactions. A good first impression can open doors, while a bad one can close them. Therefore, whenever possible, prepare to ensure you are presenting your best version, both personally and professionally. Number 20. Uniqueness. This is a powerful psychological trick that involves making someone feel unique or special. This method can be used in various situations, from marketing to personal interactions, and is extremely effective in creating bonds and influencing decisions. When you personalize your approach and communication, you demonstrate attention and consideration for the individual interests and needs of the person. This not only increases the effectiveness of the communication, but also strengthens the relationship, as people tend to respond positively when they feel valued and understood in their uniqueness. For example, in a sales context, a salesperson can highlight how a product or service can be especially useful for a customer's specific situation, taking into account their personal needs, preferences, or unique challenges. This makes the customer feel understood and appreciated, increasing the likelihood of them making a purchase. In personal or professional relationships, recognizing and celebrating the unique characteristics of a person can also reinforce mutual respect and admiration. This can be done through sincere compliments, personalized gifts, or simply by dedicating time to listen and respond in a way that highlights the individuality of the person. Additionally, personalization can be applied in conflict resolution or negotiations. By tailoring your message or solution to the specific needs of the other party, you show that you are seriously considering their viewpoints and priorities, which can help facilitate an agreement or resolve a disagreement. In summary, using uniqueness as a psychological tool involves a mix of empathy, attentive observation, and effective communication. By making people feel unique and special, you not only improve your interactions, but also create a more positive and motivating environment, where people feel valued and, therefore, more likely to respond positively to your initiatives and suggestions. In the hustle and bustle of today's world, we're often caught in a whirlwind of noise, pressure, and uncertainty from every direction. But this isn't a new struggle. It's been around for ages. Over 2 millennia ago, ancient thinkers pondered the same profound questions about our identity, purpose, and the essence of existence. Questions that still resonate today. But here's the intriguing part. The wisdom they left behind continues to serve as a beacon, illuminating our path through the complexities of contemporary life with wisdom and resilience. Their insights aren't relics of the old, they're timeless treasures waiting to be discovered and applied to our lives today. So, let's open a door to the timeless wisdom of ancient Stoic philosophy, where we'll uncover gems of insight that can enrich and enliven our day. Let's not view classical Stoic philosophy as dusty scrolls locked away in ancient libraries, but as living wisdom that speaks to the deepest truths of the human experience. Whether you're seeking relief from the pressures of modernity, craving a deeper understanding of life's mysteries, or simply curious to learn more, come join us. With each stride forward, you'll discover newfound confidence, resilience, and a renewed sense of purpose. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Stop comparing yourself to others. Now, let's talk about something that's pretty common these days: comparing ourselves to others. How often do we catch ourselves scrolling through social media, peeking at someone else's awesome moments, and feeling like we're just not as good? Well, here's a little trick from the Stoics to tackle this issue. Focus on your own journey, your own progress, and your own victories. The Stoics, with their deep insights, teach us that the only comparison worth making is with the person we were yesterday, not with someone else today. Think about it. How freeing is that? Picture breaking free from that endless loop of looking at what everyone else is up to, worrying about not measuring up. So, how do we actually do this? First off, start paying attention to when you're comparing yourself to others. Notice that little pang of jealousy or self-doubt when you see someone else doing well. Instead of dwelling on it, just admit it to yourself, and then gently remind yourself, hey, my path is unique, and that's totally fine. Then, make a point of cheering yourself on for your own wins, no matter how small they might seem. Did you handle a tough task at work? Did you show kindness to someone you didn't know? Did you take time out for yourself? These are all victories worth celebrating. By giving yourself credit for your progress, you're reinforcing the idea that your journey matters and is meaningful. Another potent Stoic practice involves reflecting on your personal growth journey. Take some time to cast your mind back to where you stood a year ago, 5 years ago, or perhaps even a decade ago. Delve into the strides you've made, the barriers you've confronted, and the insights you've gleaned along the way. This retrospective examination serves not only to bolster your self-assurance, but also to foster a deeper appreciation for the distinctive path you've traversed. It's crucial to bear in mind that the Stoics didn't confine their notion of achievement solely to career milestones or material acquisitions. Instead, they placed great emphasis on cultivating virtues such as wisdom, integrity, resilience, and inner tranquility. Therefore, when assessing your progress, consider these more profound and meaningful indicators of personal growth. Have you become more patient compared to before? More empathetic? More adept at bouncing back from setbacks? These are the kinds of accomplishments that authentically reflect your evolution as an individual. Number 2, tune out the haters. Everywhere we look, whether it's on social media, in the news, or during our conversations with others, we're bombarded with negativity, criticism, and people who just seem to thrive on bringing others down. It can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to control how happy we are. Marcus Aurelius often talked about finding peace within ourselves, even when everything around us feels chaotic. He called it the inner citadel, like a strong fortress deep within us that shields us from the negativity outside, unless we allow it in. It's a pretty cool idea, right? Basically, it means that no matter what's happening in the world, we have the power to create our own little bubble of calm and happiness inside ourselves. So, how do we shield ourselves from negativity and maintain our inner strength? It begins with recognizing what's in our power and what isn't. We can't dictate what others say or do, the hurtful remarks they make, or the gossip they spread. However, we have full control over our reactions. We can opt not to participate, refuse to absorb their negativity, and safeguard our tranquility. By focusing on what we can control, we fortify our inner citadel against the storms of criticism and hostility. Another important approach from Stoicism involves contemplating the motives behind negativity. Frequently, individuals who lash out are grappling with their own challenges, uncertainties, or suffering. Acknowledging this doesn't justify their actions, but it can guide us to react with empathy rather than defensiveness or rage. This perspective enables us to view their negativity as their own burden to bear, rather than something we must carry ourselves. Practicing mindfulness is like having a superpower to safeguard your inner tranquility. When negativity comes knocking at the door, instead of letting it barge in, take a moment to hit the pause button and breathe deeply. Remind yourself that this wave of negativity is temporary. It's just a passing cloud in the sky of your life. You don't have to let it cast a shadow over your entire day or dictate your mood. By staying rooted in the present moment, you can anchor yourself in a place of calm and serenity, shielding your inner peace from the storms of life. Surrounding yourself with positivity can be a real game changer. Dive into uplifting content, hang out with folks who lift you up, and decorate your space with things that make you smile. You're the director of your own life movie, so pick the scenes that make you feel good. Opt for positivity, and let the negative stuff just roll off your back. Keep in mind that blocking out negativity doesn't mean putting up barriers or acting like you don't care. It's all about being selective with where you invest your energy and thoughts. It's about safeguarding your inner peace and fortitude so that you're equipped to confront challenges with poise and resilience. By focusing on what truly matters and nurturing your inner strength, you'll find yourself better prepared to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and determination. Number 3. Avoid taking things personally. We've all been there. That moment when someone's words or actions feel like a punch in the gut. But Seneca, a sage philosopher from ancient Rome, offers us a timeless insight. He encourages us to pause and reflect. When someone's behavior hurts or offends us, Seneca suggests it's rarely about us personally. Instead, it's a reflection of their own inner world, their struggles, biases, and past experiences. It's as if each person navigates life wearing a unique pair of glasses, tinted by their own perceptions. These lenses color how they interpret everything around them, including how they interact with us. So, when we feel wounded by someone's words or actions, perhaps it's an opportunity to practice empathy and understanding, recognizing that their behavior is a reflection of their journey, not a judgment of our worth. Think back to a moment when you may have snapped at someone or acted out of character. Perhaps you were under immense stress, grappling with fears, insecurities, or simply having a particularly rough day. It's a common human experience. If we can acknowledge this tendency within ourselves, why not extend the same understanding to others? This shift in perspective, as Seneca urges, isn't solely about practicing empathy. It's also a form of self-preservation. When we refrain from taking everything personally, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary anguish. It's akin to shedding a burdensome weight we've been carrying. Suddenly, we find ourselves able to breathe more easily, move more freely, and live with greater peace of mind. By recognizing that not every action is a direct reflection of our worth, we unburden ourselves and foster a more compassionate way of living. So, how do we put this into practice? How do we refrain from taking things personally, especially when our emotions are running high? It all begins with a moment of pause. When you feel that surge of hurt or anger, Simply pause, take a deep breath, and recall Seneca's wisdom. This may not be about me, after all. This small act of pausing can interrupt a knee-jerk reaction and provide room for a more composed response. It's also about cultivating resilience and empathy. The more we remind ourselves that we don't have the complete picture of someone else's struggles, the less likely we are to feel wounded by their actions or words. And when we do experience hurt, because, let's face it, it will happen, we can view it as an opportunity to apply our Stoic principles. Ask yourself, what lessons can I glean from this experience? How can it contribute to my personal growth? By adopting this mindset, we transform moments of pain into valuable learning opportunities. By embracing this Stoic approach, we not only safeguard our inner calm, but also invite more compassionate and meaningful interactions into our lives. We become less prone to react impulsively, more empathetic, and in essence, more attuned to the shared humanity in each person we encounter. Number 4, care less about people's opinions. Isn't it strange how much we let other people's opinions affect us? Sometimes we give up our own happiness just to fit in with what others expect of us. But let's take a step back and think about what the ancient Stoics believed. Marcus Aurelius said, "We shouldn't waste our time seeking validation from others." He challenges us to ask why we feel the need to please everyone else and encourages us to break free from that cycle. It's quite liberating, don't you think, to realize that the only approval that truly matters is our own. So consider this. When you're lying in bed at night, it's your own thoughts that keep you company, not other people's. Why not focus on being true to yourself, sticking to your values, and doing what feels right? Imagine the freedom of being yourself without constantly worrying about what others think or following the latest trends. So, how do we begin caring less about what others think? It starts by knowing and sticking to your values. What do you believe in? What's really important to you? When your actions align with your beliefs, you'll feel a deep sense of peace and authenticity that no one else's approval can give you. Plus, embracing your individuality draws in the right people, those who accept you for who you truly are, not who they want you to be. It's all about quality over quantity. Cultivating a few deep, meaningful connections based on mutual respect and understanding holds far greater value than constantly seeking the fleeting validation of the masses. It's important to recognize that people's opinions are just that, opinions. They are subjective, prone to change, and often reflect more about the person expressing them than about you. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, the only enduring and genuine validation stems from within, from living a life that aligns with your own values and principles. When you prioritize your internal compass over external validation, you free yourself from the unpredictable sway of others' opinions. This shift in perspective empowers you to navigate life with authenticity and confidence, regardless of the approval or disapproval of those around you. By staying true to your beliefs and honoring your unique journey, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that transcends the fleeting validation sought from external sources. In essence, remember that the most significant validation you can ever receive comes from living authentically and in harmony with your values. Embrace your individuality, trust your instincts, and cherish the meaningful connections built on genuine understanding and respect. Number 5, embrace honesty. When we ponder honesty, our initial inclination often centers around the avoidance of falsehoods towards others. Yet, Stoicism urges us to probe deeper into the essence of honesty. It's not merely about refraining from lying. It's about ensuring that our external conduct and speech resonate with our internal principles and beliefs. This alignment begets a profound sense of integrity and unity within ourselves. Picture the serenity that accompanies the realization that our actions authentically mirror our inner selves. Epictetus, a luminary in Stoic philosophy, emphasizes this perspective. He asserts that honesty isn't just a moral virtue, it's also pragmatically sound. Consider the mental toll of deceit, the constant juggling of falsehoods, the laborious task of covering our tracks, and the perpetual anxiety of being exposed. It's mentally exhausting. Conversely, honesty offers a refreshing simplicity and liberation. It emancipates us from the convoluted maze of deceit, allowing us to live with a sense of tranquility and clarity. But here's the thing. Honesty isn't just about how we interact with others. It profoundly shapes our inner world as well. When we're honest with ourselves about our strengths, weaknesses, and desires, we set the stage for genuine personal growth and self-acceptance. It's like decluttering our mental space, making room for more peace, understanding, and meaningful connections with those around us. Embracing honesty isn't always a breeze, though. It requires a hefty dose of courage and vulnerability. It means bravely acknowledging when we've missed the mark, facing our mistakes head-on, and accepting the consequences of our actions. But the rewards that come with honesty, like earning trust, garnering respect, and enjoying a clear conscience, are truly invaluable. So while the journey towards honesty may be challenging, the destination is undeniably worth it. So, how do we nurture this virtue in our everyday lives? It begins with taking small but deliberate steps. Start by embracing transparency in your interactions with others. Take time to reflect on your day and recognize instances where you may have veered from honesty. Ask yourself why it happened and consider how you can do better next time. Keep in mind that it's a journey, and each step toward honesty brings you closer to a life filled with serenity and deeper meaning. Number 6. Cultivate patience. Marcus Aurelius, the ancient philosopher and Roman emperor, frequently reflected on the virtue of patience. He didn't view patience as merely enduring situations passively, but rather as an active engagement with the present moment, regardless of its challenges. To him, patience was akin to equipping oneself with armor to confront life's trials, transforming potential irritations into opportunities for endurance and tranquility. Consider a mundane scenario like being stuck in traffic. Instead of succumbing to frustration, Aurelius would encourage embracing the reality that you cannot move faster than the cars ahead. This acceptance grants a sense of liberation, freeing your mind to indulge in your favorite music, dive into an engaging audiobook, or simply contemplate your thoughts. This shift in perspective doesn't alter the traffic congestion itself, but it profoundly influences how you experience it. Rather than a tedious wait, it becomes a moment of peace or even enjoyment, illustrating Aurelius's timeless wisdom on finding solace amidst life's inevitable inconveniences. Think about encountering a difficult person. Instead of getting upset right away, picture yourself responding with patience. Take a moment to try to understand their perspective. Realize that their actions might be driven by their own struggles rather than anything you've done. This doesn't mean you have to tolerate bad behavior, but you can choose to handle it calmly and considerately. This approach often helps ease tensions and leads to more positive results for everyone. In Stoicism, patience transcends mere tolerance of waiting. It embodies a profound acceptance of the present reality. It invites us to perceive delays, irritations, and obstacles not as disruptions to our journey, but as integral components of it. Every instance of impatience becomes a valuable opportunity for us to deepen our commitment to Stoic principles, to refine our understanding of the philosophy, and to nurture a tranquil state of mind. To cultivate patience in our daily lives, we begin by fostering awareness of our inner state. When we feel impatience rising within us, it's crucial to recognize it promptly. Take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and draw inspiration from the wisdom of Stoic figures like Marcus Aurelius, who exemplified patience in the face of adversity. Another practical approach is to reassess our expectations. Often, impatience arises when reality deviates from our plans. By acknowledging that we can't control every outcome, but we can control our reactions, we can set more realistic expectations. This shift allows us to find contentment in the natural flow of life, embracing its twists and turns with equanimity. Consider every trial of patience as a chance for growth, rather than a barrier to overcome. Just as a muscle strengthens with exercise, your ability to be patient expands each time you opt for it instead of frustration or anger. The benefits are profound: a more tranquil mind, reduced stress, and a reputation for composure and thoughtfulness, even in the face of adversity. Number 7. Embrace love in actions. Stoicism isn't just about being rational, it also has a soft spot for love. Seneca emphasizes that love isn't merely a passive emotion, it's an active force. It's like spreading warmth and positivity into the world, and the amazing part? It has a boomerang effect, returning to you in even greater measure, often from the most surprising corners of life. But what does it truly mean to embody love from a Stoic perspective? It's about embracing every encounter, every individual, with kindness and compassion. It's recognizing the inherent worth in every person, even those who may test your patience. It involves sincerely wanting the best for others, genuinely caring about their joy and welfare regardless of their feelings towards you. This can be challenging, particularly when faced with negativity or animosity, but adopting this mindset can have a profound impact, not only on your own life, but also on the lives of those you touch. Being full of love means more than just feeling warm and fuzzy inside. It involves actively practicing forgiveness and striving to understand others. When we encounter people, it's crucial to remember that each person is grappling with their own struggles and carrying their own burdens. By choosing to respond with love and compassion, we not only help to lighten their load, but also alleviate our own. This approach fosters deeper connections as we recognize our shared humanity and the common challenges we face. Furthermore, Stoicism offers valuable insights into the nature of love. It teaches us that love extends beyond mere interpersonal relationships. It encompasses our relationship with life itself. Embracing the Stoic philosophy means embracing life in its entirety, with all its ups and downs, twists and turns. It involves finding joy in the simple pleasures, appreciating the beauty that surrounds us, and engaging with the world in a meaningful and positive manner. So, how do we adopt this loving, calm way of living like the Stoics? Let's start small. Say something nice to someone you don't know. Show those close to you that you appreciate them. And make a habit of being thankful every day. Take a moment to think about why you do what you do, and if it comes from a place of kindness and love. When faced with negativity or meanness, try to understand where it's coming from and respond with kindness. Remember, embracing love doesn't mean turning a blind eye to the tough parts of life. Instead, it's about choosing to face them with love rather than fear or anger. It's a brave choice that can bring real happiness and closeness. Number 8. Be an example. Epictetus was no stranger to tough times and staying true to what he believed in. He didn't just talk about Stoicism in class. He practiced it daily and urged his students to do the same. Living your philosophy means your life reflects your beliefs, showing them through what you do, not just what you say. Picture the impact you can have by simply living by your values. When you choose kindness, even when it's hard, people notice. It might even encourage them to be kind too. When you stick to your principles, even when it's tough, you set an example for those around you. And when you face challenges with strength, staying calm and collected, it can give hope to others who are struggling. So, how do we actually become that example for others? It all begins with taking a good, hard look at ourselves. Reflect on what really matters to you. What values do you hold dear? These are the principles that should steer your life's course. Once you've got a clear picture of these values, it's time to put them into action. Make a conscious effort each day to make choices that reflect who you are and what you believe in. Now, nobody's perfect. We all mess up from time to time, make bad decisions, or let our emotions get the best of us. But being an example isn't about being flawless. It's about trying. It's about genuinely striving to live up to your ideals, even when it's tough. And when you do slip up, as we all do, it's about owning those mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward with even more determination. That's how we truly become a beacon for others to follow. Consistency plays a pivotal role in setting an example for others. It's not just about doing the right thing when it's easy or when there's an audience. It's about maintaining your values consistently, regardless of the circumstances. Whether you're in the spotlight or flying under the radar, staying true to your principles is what truly defines your character. This unwavering commitment to your beliefs builds trust and respect among those around you. When people see that you're consistent in your actions, it strengthens their confidence in you and the values you stand for. It demonstrates that your integrity isn't just a facade put on for show, but a genuine part of who you are. Let's draw inspiration from Epictetus and strive to become living embodiments of our philosophy. Whether it's kindness, integrity, resilience, or any other virtue we hold dear, let's breathe life into these principles through our daily actions. It's essential to recognize the profound impact we can have on those around us. By exemplifying our values, we possess the ability to inspire, influence, and bring about positive change in the world. Embracing this responsibility, let's remember that each of us holds the power to be a guiding light for others. As we navigate our journey, let's be intentional about the footprints we leave behind, ensuring they reflect the values we cherish. Let's be the catalysts for transformation, demonstrating through our words and deeds the transformative potential inherent in living a life aligned with our beliefs. Number 9, cherish your loved ones. Amidst the hustle and bustle of our daily routines, it's effortless to get swept away by the small stuff, the never-ending tasks, and our relentless pursuit of personal achievements. However, Stoicism, with its wise understanding of human nature, reminds us of what truly matters, the bonds we share with those we care about. While Stoicism may seem focused on discipline and toughness, it's fundamentally about fostering connections and nurturing relationships. The Stoics recognize the fleeting nature of life, emphasizing the importance of cherishing every moment spent with loved ones. They urge us to embrace the present, cherish the present moment, and treasure those who bring significance and happiness into our lives. But how do we make this real, especially when life gets hectic and distractions abound? It all begins with mindfulness, with actively choosing to be fully present when we're with our loved ones. This means genuinely listening to them, engaging wholeheartedly, and demonstrating through our actions that they hold significance for us. Gratitude plays a crucial role too. It involves letting our loved ones know that we value them, not just through big gestures, but in the everyday moments that shape our relationships. A simple thank you, a note of appreciation, or a kind word can carry immense weight. It's a way of recognizing their worth and the positive impact they have on our lives. And let's not forget about showing love, which can take many forms depending on the person and the bond we share. It could mean spending meaningful time together, providing support when times are tough, or celebrating victories together. Love, according to Stoicism, is about taking action and being involved. It's about being present for others, especially when they need us most. Setting aside time for our loved ones is perhaps the most vital aspect of all. In the midst of our hectic lives, it's common to sideline our relationships, assuming they'll remain steady without much effort. But Stoicism teaches us to confront the brevity of life, urging us to prioritize those who matter most. Even when life gets overwhelming, it's vital to carve out time for our loved ones, acknowledging their importance. Cherishing these connections means dedicating our time, attention, and care to nurture the bonds that give our lives richness and meaning. Always keep in mind that life's journey is meant to be shared with our loved ones. Treasure each moment, seize every chance to express love, and never underestimate the impact of simply being there. As we wrap up this part of our journey, let's keep in mind, embracing Stoicism amidst life's challenges offers us a profound advantage in fostering resilience and inner peace. By adopting Stoic principles, we cultivate a mindset that enables us to navigate adversity with clarity and equanimity. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on what is within our control, allowing us to channel our energy towards constructive actions rather than being consumed by worry or frustration over circumstances beyond our influence. Moreover, Stoic philosophy encourages acceptance of the impermanent nature of life, empowering us to adapt and grow stronger through hardship rather than succumbing to despair. Ultimately, embracing Stoicism provides us with a practical framework for finding strength, purpose, and tranquility in the face of life's trials. We appreciate you being here with us today. Your quest for wisdom and inner peace is something we're proud to share with you. Before you go, make sure to check out one of the recommended videos on your screen. Let's keep exploring the deep thoughts of Stoicism together and strive for a life filled with goodness, resilience, and meaningful connections.